is our NFL insider, and he's been covering the NFL since before Christ. You can follow him on X at Kaplan NFL for free, no less. It's the same thing as getting the SportsGrid app. It's free on iOS or Android. You can follow Adam Caplan on the app, and you can watch the network on the app. You can listen to the network on the app, and you got Adam Caplan everywhere you go. And you got him on C2C regularly. You got him on SportsGrid regularly. It's all the way things should be and should have been from the beginning and have been. All right. You went to Eagles OTAs today, and I want to know about a couple things. One, this Big Dom guy that everybody's talking about here. And two, what is wrong with these sports talk guys in Philadelphia that they're like going crazy over the Eagles offense not being allegedly good in OTAs? Like, how ridiculous. The Phillies are 44-19 and they're talking about the OTA practice.
Yeah. We just, the Eagles finished, Scott, good to be with you, the mandatory camp today. There's their third practice this week. They practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 9 other teams finished, and the other 22 teams around the NFL will finish next week. But let's get back to the Eagles. Yeah, I was down there in South Philly today, and first of all, look, we have to understand. Let's talk first about their offense. The Eagles have installed a brand new offense under new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. It's completely different than Jalen Hurts has played in. Jalen Hurts has gone through a lot of offensive scheme changes in his career, going back to high school. He's had a lot of different coaches. So Nick Sirianni, his scheme is out. Kellen Moore's scheme is in. Sirianni's involved, but it's Kellen Moore's scheme. Kellen Moore's also going to call the plays. So the thing is, the way I understand it is the timing is a little bit off, but that's to be expected. Remember now, Scott, as you well know, and everybody should know, off seasons are shorter now. Going back to the 11 CBA, there are not a lot of practices. So yes, of course, the defense is going to be ahead of the offense in this situation. And don't forget, they're running the same exact defense under Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator. This is the 4th year that they've ran his scheme. This is his first year there with Philly. The Eagles tried to hire him a couple years ago. It did not work out, but he's there now. But yeah, does the defense look better than the offense? Absolutely. The Eagles are not worried about it, believe me. The talk radio hosts around Philly, there are 2 stations here we have in Philly. They're blowing stuff up. It's not a big deal. Fans are going out of their minds. It's not a big deal. This is my 25th year of covering the National Football League. I never worry about this stuff. It's never really a problem. But yes, when you're installing a brand new offensive scheme, they're going to be growing pains. It's really not a big deal.
Honestly, between Barkley, Brown, Smith, their tight ends, their quarterback, they are loaded. What do I give a rat's ass about June 6th, the final day of off-season workouts mandatory? I could care less. When they roll out in September, that offense, they are stacked.
Yep. Not only are they stacked, by the way, this is one of the big stories of their offseason. All of a sudden, Mekhi Becton, who was drafted as a left tackle by the Jets, he signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles a couple weeks ago. He actually has been lining up at left guard. You're talking about a 6'7.5" guard now. He actually lined up filling in for Landon Dickerson, their starting left guard, who was away due to personal business, but there's an excuse absence. But it's crazy to see a guy that big. And by the way, he's slimmed down now. He's down about 30 pounds or so. The bottom line is seeing a guy like that play guard is interesting. And the Eagles have a great offensive line. There's no doubt about that. But again, Jason Kelce is retired. They have a new starting center in Cam Jurgens. He moved from right guard to center. That's going to be a storyline of training camp. We'll have our storylines later in July. But yeah, way too much, I agree with you, made of this. It's crazy because you talk about the Phillies. The Phillies have the best record in baseball. They play in London this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. That should be a bigger story. Somehow in this town, you know this market in Philly very well. Somehow this story blew up this week.
I mean, it's ridiculous. They're 25 games over 500, and they're talking about the offensive woes of the Eagles, which they don't have any. What's the deal with this mafioso type, this Big Dom guy that's protecting everyone? And they gave him some juicy new title. Wasn't he in trouble last year on the sidelines causing grief?
Yeah, so, okay, Dom DiSandro is his name. He's the Eagles' vice president of security. His nickname is Big Dom. I saw him today on the sidelines. He's a guy you always see in a sweatsuit, lovable guy, very beloved by the organization. Back here in Philly, we actually have T-shirts made of him. I mean, when do you see a director of security having a T-shirt made of him? But the Eagles have that. But getting back to DiSandro's situation, so it was that Sunday afternoon game. The Eagles lost to the Niners here last season, and DiSandro, remember, a Niners player got in someone's face, and then DiSandro got in the Niners player's face. You're not supposed to do that, so he wound up getting suspended for the rest of the regular season. So he does get involved with the coaches and with security. So what the Eagles did is to make sure that everybody knows what his title is. He has a brand new title. He actually has a third title where he's going to be not only he's already advisor to the general manager, Howie Roseman, and vice president of security, but he's got a third title now to make sure everybody knows that he's with the coaches. He's now involved with the coach. He's got like a title with the coaches here. So yeah, he's the only one who has this, but DiSandro is extremely popular here, and it's interesting. He's really come up here through the ranks. By the way, Dom actually played football for a brief time at Penn State, but he's all about security, and you cannot miss the guy. He's always in a sweatsuit.
Is he in charge of bringing Pat's steaks over to the field as well?
Yeah, Dom's a sizable guy, by the way. You cannot miss him, and he's really bluff. He always has those glasses on, even when we have partly cloudy skies here in Philly. But yeah, by the way, the Eagles now have wrapped up. They'll report in late July. They're going to have a joint practice with the Patriots for one day in the preseason. But this is a team that people want to know what happened last season. But you're right, Scott. The roster's absolutely stacked on offense, and they have one of the best defensive coordinators in NFL history in Vic Fangio here. So I like their win projection of 11-12. I think that's pretty accurate.
So what's the deal with the UFL's ratings?
Yeah. This is an interesting story because I follow this stuff. In fact, there's a betting market for it. I know my friends at fantasypoints.com put out betting stuff and fantasy stuff information. So it's a kind of a big deal, the UFL, because look, we don't have football in the spring. You and I grew up with the USFL. But what's happened here, Scott, is this thing surprised me. Their TV ratings, if you just look at the XFL in the past and the USFL in the past, the last couple seasons, the UFL is up by about over 200,000 per week for TV. That's great with Fox, ABC, and ESPN. But the bummer is attendance-wise. Now, there are only 8 teams. While we've got the St. Louis Battlehawks, coached by Anthony Beck, former Jets first-round pick, they average, Scott, they average over 30,000 per game. But the other 7 teams, they average less than 10,000 per game. And what I was told is, and the reason why the attendance is low, if you remember, the merger of combining the three leagues into one, that happened way later than they anticipated. And that is why it was hard to sell in those markets. And that's something they're going to have now because, from what I understand, there shouldn't be any movement. They've got the 8 teams. Everybody knows where they're going to be. So they'll now be able to market and have a full offseason. But yeah, the crowds weren't great, but the TV ratings are really, really big. That to me is a big surprise. I was not expecting that.
People want to watch that DC Defenders team with their fans that drink 5 million beers and make that beer snake every week on national television. That's like bigger than the game.
Oh, by the way, speaking of it, they got the playoffs that start this weekend, and that's another kind of layer to this. But I'll be interested to see if they could actually draw in these markets. I've talked to a couple of their coaches. They definitely think that it's all about staying put. Everybody knows where they're going to be, and that's going to help them this coming off season.